Welcome to Headhunter Spearfishing. Today we're going to go over how to assemble the Gorilla Sling. We get a lot of questions from customers wondering how the sling gets put together and how they can adjust it to suit their individual strengths and needs. When you first open the box, you'll notice that there are two things displayed. First is your sling, and second is a second box with the parts kit. The sling comes with a handle pre-installed, but you always want to make sure it's tight. We'll go over that later. The parts box has your band, two plugs for the band, a spare set of square nuts, your cup, an Allen key, and a plug tool. The first thing you're going to do is take your band and a pair of scissors and cut the band on a sharp angle. Then open up the sling cup or shaft cup and pull the band in and stretch it. You want to get that cup centered in the band. You can stretch the band to move the cup to where you need it. Then I like to roll the band in my fingers so it hangs with a natural bend in it, and I just pull the band apart so the cup is facing down. If the cup is facing up like that, when you go to assemble it later, it'll be off, it'll be out of alignment. So hold the band, let it fall, put it back. Should be a good starting point for you. Now that you have the cup on the band, the next step is going to be to feed the band into the sling. Place one end of the band in each of the two holes in the Gorilla Sling and just slide it through. The sling comes with a medium band. We offer light through extra heavy bands, the medium and the heavy bands being the most popular. Not only do we have 4 different bands you can use, but the length of the band can be adjusted pretty easily in the sling. Cut it to where you need, insert the plugs, and the band is set. If you need to make it a little shorter, pull the plugs out, shorten it up, and you're good to go. You don't want to shorten the band any more than about a full hand width, 4 fingers or so. Otherwise, the cup can smack the back of the shaft or the back of the sling. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to make this about this long, and then we're going to go ahead and show how you can shorten it up after you've already installed the plugs. So I've decided I want it about there. I'm going to go ahead and just cut this band where I feel it looks good. All right. Now take out the 2 plugs. Pull these bands out. A little bit of spit or water. Push them in. The bands, you can even this out a little bit. There we go. The plugs are in the bands, and that's what's going to keep this from pulling back through. Now, before we pull back on this, I want to go ahead and take this tool out. It's a 5/32 hex key. And just make sure that we're nice and tight on our handle. Yep, good to go. So your plugs are in, your shaft cup's on, everything looks good. Pull back a little bit. Don't want to pull back until you're in the water. Just pull back a little bit, make sure everything's firmly seated, and you're good to go with your sling. Now take it in the pool, take it out in the ocean, and check to see how's that feel? Is that a strong enough pull? Is it too light? Let's say it's too light. We want to make it shorter. Take out the tool, thread it into the end of the plug, pull it out. All right. We're going to go ahead and shorten this up to about there. And that's about as short as I would make this band. This is, like I said, a medium band. If you find that this is too light, go ahead and switch to a heavier band. I would go ahead and cut these here. Pull it out. Just push down evenly. Good to go. Now you have a fully rigged Gorilla Sling. The last thing you'll see in the kit is this bag of square nuts. These are just spares. There's one under each of these bolts here in the sling. If you wanted to add any of your own accessories, you'd have these to try and bolt anything else you wanted into our T-track on the sling itself. All the accessories we sell, like the GoPro mount and the reel mount, they all come with all the hardware you need. So these are really just extras for you to keep.